Welcome to Trading Lounge and the US tech stocks. We're looking at the cash market here, the SPX. This is the bearish count. It's not my primary count, but this would be the bearish count if there was a bearish count. So in a bit of a nutshell, an A and a B and a C wave here with a smaller A, B, C within that space. But that's it is what it is, but it's not our primary count. As you know, I've been bullish since this low here, but I've just been trying to justify it. But as time goes on, it looks better and better and better. The earnings coming out from tech stocks is also quite healthy. We had Google the other day with some nice figures. Let's go to the count that I'm looking at here. So the bullish count on the daily chart for the SPX here is an A and a B and a C wave to here for wave 2, and then going up for wave 1 here and pulling back for wave 2. Okay, so that's where we are at the moment. So we need to understand what this move is here within this wave 1 here. This will be the same for the NASDAQ as well, but I won't need to go there for the daily chart. You've got that image. So this is primary wave 1, and we need to figure out how we can get this as an impulse wave. So just into the 15-minute chart and just picking it up from the low there. So there's our wave 1 and wave 2 here, and we'll probably need to put that up there a bit further. And don't worry about where I put this wave 2 here. I mean, wave 2's simple and sharp and devastating and those sort of things. So so we'll just do our best to work through that. Now, I also just want to point out too that and I've said it before as well, so it's something that we need to sort of work out with stocks. So basically we're looking at 5 waves to the upside to get this wave 1, right? This wave 1 over here, and then we'll have an ABC back for wave 2, and then we'll push up at that point. Now, the other way that the markets can move instead of having this 5 waves here is really have, whoopsie daisy, I'll just need to delete this now, so just bear with me, and I just need this drawing tool. So the other way it can count is up here for wave 1 and 2 here, and then 1 and 2 and 1 and 2, and doing this sort of thing, and then sort of moving up into third waves at this point. So we need to be a little bit mindful of that with stocks. Now we're currently long in Tesla. So based on those 2 counts here, it means that as I always say, there's nothing to trade, and when you recognize what's going on, there's pretty much everything to trade. But there are leaders and followers, and we moved into Tesla last Friday or Thursday, Friday, whatever. So we'll probably move into NVDA as well. And we'll just sort of take it a little bit sort of steady, but we'll start sort of moving, because the reason for that is because if we don't get a nice 5 waves with a nice wave 2 pullback like this, and we keep building to the upside, well then we miss the move, so we need to sort of build in and do our best with that. So from this point we're looking for 5 waves up here. And in this case here, we'll put this wave 1 up here and this wave 2 here. Like I said, don't pay too much attention to this. Our focus is on this move here. And, I've showed you a bearish count, and we're looking at a bullish count at the moment. And this particular bullish count I've got like this, but in a bit of a nutshell, there's about 3 bearish counts and about 3 bullish counts. So if you've got a different count, it's not such a big deal. I mean, like I say, at the end of the day, all we're looking for is trying to use Elliott wave to confirm a direction, and then use our trade setups, a nice strong trade setup to be able to move into the markets. And we use the trading levels I use the trading levels for that. Everybody's got their own way of doing things. So in this instance here, we've got wave 1 and 2, 3, 4, 5 up there. So you can see that 5-wave structure there. Now, don't pay attention to, where this top can be here or how far this pulls back and all these sorts of things. Sure, we'll look at the, the Fibonacci relationships and price points, large numbers and so on. So this is it in a bit of a way here, in this way here. So we've got 1 and 2 here and 3, 4, 5. So we're in this third wave here. Now in this third wave, it can also be counted a little bit different as well, because in a way we could go 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 up here and then count 5 waves in this move, or we could go 1 and 2 and 1 and 2. But we're not really getting a strong third of a third there, as I mentioned last week with this here. So it's probably better off counted as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 over here, and then filling in these little dots here as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 moving up here for then a 4 and then a 5, which would probably end up taking us up to the 5, 8 here as well. And I've also, I've on the charts when we look at the stocks, I put the earnings dates on there. Now, those earning dates weren't confirmed, but they are confirming now. So we've got Apple on the 1st of May. We've got Amazon on the 1st of May as well. We've got Meta on the 30th of April. We've got Microsoft on the 30th of April as well. NVDA, as usual, is at the end of May. So yeah, we've got a bit going on this week with earnings. So just another little caveat to be mindful of what you're doing. But yeah, in a bit of a nutshell, this is the case. Now, I won't go into any more detail here because we'll look at the futures market in the next video today, and we'll work from that point. But yeah, just kind of get a bit of a bearing on things. This is the NASDAQ, the cash market here. I won't go into the futures market, but it's the same thing here. In this case here, I've counted it a little bit differently here, because in the other one I had 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 here. But in this one I've counted 1 and 2 and 1 and 2, just so I don't get locked in my head about how it is. So just so a little variation there. Like I said, with this particular market, it doesn't really matter, because this 20,000, this major trading level here, is going to, we can see what happened over here. So we're going to get the same over here. It's trading around large numbers is where you'll lose money, unless you take a longer term view of the situation. So you could get in now and keep the stop sort of out of the way and get up to 2100, or maybe even higher than that as well. But I think this will be a sticky number here based on history, and not really sort of worth going into. And sort of bear that in mind when you're looking at whatever stocks that you're trading as well. Always look for the closest largest number and ask yourself, is that support or resistance? Should I be going in there? Okay, so we're going to move over to the stocks. So just before I start, I want to just briefly talk about this new tab that we got here, which is trade recommendations. Now, I haven't talked to the other analysts about this just yet. We've been working with Jal to develop this further. So at the moment, you'll be able to come to here and look at each analyst's trades at this point. So yeah, well, this is this one here. This is Bitcoin. It was just a very small short-term trade that hit its target. This was the entry and the stop, and I adjusted the stop, so I'll have to put another thing in here. Tesla we opened up the other day. NVIDIA we can open up today. So now you'll be able to get the trades from here. Now, what I'm also working on as well, I'm just testing all this at the moment. What will happen as well is hopefully we'll set up an API to send this to our own portfolios within TradingLounge. Okay, so eventually that will be the case. Yeah, so yeah, when you click on this space here, it'll take you to this trade that was going on at this particular point. Okay, so it's very sort of simplistic at this point, but yeah, we're just building it at the moment, and that's that. So let's just go back to Apple here for that, and I'll keep updating you on that as well. But like I said, I've got to teach the analysts to use it. So Apple here. Now, I could view this in two different ways. I could look at this as 1 and 2 here, and also 1 and 2 here as well. So we'll probably do that. They've got their earnings at the beginning of May here after market hours. This is confirmed as well. And yeah, the move up here can also be counted differently as well. I've got it as 1 and 2 here, then 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. But it's sort of behaving like a fifth wave here, as it's sort of much weaker. Fifth waves can be on lower volume in most cases. Now, it does make a third wave as well in the fact that it just keeps sort of creeping along and building and building and building and those sort of things. So we'll just keep a little bit of an eye on that, but we may need to make an adjustment there. I'm not that keen on going long here just yet for this market. The good news is that at the 200 here, we are above the market, above, you know, we're on the bullish side of this number here. So that's, you know, if somebody asks me, you know, I mean, I like to be on the right side at the right time, but if you ask me what the right side is, I always look for the closest, largest number, and then I'd need to be above that. But I also wanted to see it retested as well. So it hasn't really retested at this point. So that's really what I'm waiting for. And I also understand that, you know, it in its own way, it can move up higher up here and then come back here. And this is what I'm looking for over here. Now, in this particular move up here, we'll probably get up to the 220. So if you wanted a long trade in here, you could take that to the 220. You'd need to keep your stop under the 65% here. So you'd need to keep your stop under this wave 2 here. Right, and that might need some adjustments if it came down. So it's a lot of heat to take on at this particular point in time. It just depends on, you know, I mean, if we had a stronger bullish case for this, because this could be counted as an A and a B and a C for the A wave, the B wave and the C wave up here, you know, so we don't know that. We don't really know just yet. So it could actually make a new low here and then move up at that point. I don't think it's the case, but you know, we need to look for safe trades. So we'll just allow this to unwind here. And like I said, we're starting to enter trades into the market. So yeah, we'll just pick and choose, because we may need to hold some heat on some of them and those sort of things. Okay, let's move along. So out of the 8 or so that I track every day, Amazon and Meta were the 2 weakest ones, but Meta's really had quite good earnings. You know, it's had, you know, annual compound earnings of around 12%. So it's, you know, it's been doing quite well in that regard. So here I've had this as a bearish count, but I'm at a bullish count, and I'm doing the same as well, but I'm just sort of focusing it in on with the other markets now as well. So that means that we can look at this as wave 1 up here and back for wave 2 here. Now, I don't know if that's the actual case at this point, but what we will be looking for is to be going long over here at some point in time here. Okay, so we need this to top and turn here, and there is a chance that it can make a new low here. It may or may not. We'll just see how that goes. It doesn't really matter what happens, because if it's going to be bullish, we're going to be on it. Okay, all we're doing is waiting for this 5-wave move up through to here to finish off. Now, it could be a little bit different. This could come a little bit higher here. I could count this as 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 here. those sort of things. But it doesn't really matter. It's going to come up to this large number up here and 200 and major trading level, and you know, it's going to spend some time here for this. So we'll just see, because it's got this history here, that will reflect it back over here. So we just need to be patient. There's nothing really to do at this point with this market. Okay, NVDA 15-minute chart. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up here. It did make a new high on the aftermarket, so that's what we're using at the moment. And wave 1 and 2, and then we're looking up here for. I have to tie this into the rest of the markets. The good thing about this one here is that it doesn't really have any. It doesn't have its earnings until the 28th of May, so it's a fair way away at this particular point. And of course it's going to come up into this top area over here and struggle at this point. So this is not a really good trade at this point. It's just if you were looking for something, it's the rhythm of it's okay at this point in time. So it'll push higher, but it's going to be, it could be a bit of a slog as well. So we're just going in at 110 here roughly and looking at the 120 area here. So we want to be out before we get to this wave 1 up here. So this will be in the, I think it's in trade recommendation here for this. So it's got the entry and the stop, but it's not a it's not a fantastic trade, right? So don't put a whole lot of money on it, because it's and especially coming into old highs here, if you've got leverage and you're paying for that leverage, then that overnight financing cost is going to be a bit expensive as well. So it's not a good leveraged trade. All I'm saying is it's going to push higher, but it's going to be time consuming, because it's also, and if these are 1s and 2s here, right, these are going to be 4s and 5 coming into here, so they're going to be sort of churning here. So it's not a fantastic trade. So just, you know, a very small amount of money if that takes your fancy at that point. But there's no big numbers sort of stopping it. It's just this old highs over here and the Elliott structure of 4s and 5s at this point. So Meta has earnings this Wednesday, and it's a bit of a different pattern. Meta has made a low down through here, not on all charting programs, but we're pulling the data from TradingView in this instance. So yeah, slightly different pattern here. But I'm going to look at this as an impulse wave to the upside. Now it comes back to the other side of things as well. You see how I've got wave 1 and 2 here, then wave 1 and 2 here. This could be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 going up here. So where it's got this wave 3 here, we could actually have the ABC pattern come back into play at that point. So we could actually get it from this wave 1 over here as an ABC pattern here, and then going up, or we could get it from this wave 3 here, and that could be the top of it at that point. You know, we could look at the 50-60%, all that sort of stuff there. So I still want this to top and turn here, and obviously the old high over here and the 580 to 600 here is going to be a good resistance area here, and so we'll just wait for the pullback at this point for this market. So this is Netflix, and Netflix has had its earnings, but I just want to leave that there so I know that it's been done. And yeah, it's really quite a nice trend channel here, and doing its own thing and moving higher, a little bit like Bitcoin actually, and will continue to move higher here again. So if we just focus in on this little area through here. We're looking for 1 and 2 and 3, 4, 5 up here for this, and then wave 4 and wave 5. You could actually go long here as well. The thing is though, is that we'll be in wave 4s here, you know, but it will edge higher. So you could do that. I just don't suggest leverage. It's okay to park money here, so to speak. But yeah, not a sort of a quick trade by any means, but nice to see a strong trend in the market. And Google had its earnings the other day, quite good. And we're looking at this as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up here for wave 1 and 2 here. And, you know, for the bearish count with all of this, by the by, is that, you know, this would be the A wave, the B wave, and the C wave, where it finishes up here and then would come down at that point. So really, this is what I'm trying to negate, really, is to get out of, you know. So we want to sort of move past that. So in that case, we want to go from wave 2 here to wave 3, 4, 5. I don't know where this top is going to be at this particular point. You know, all the markets will pretty much top together. So some of these fifth waves will be short on some, and some will be longer. Now, I could also count this up here differently as well. I understand that. At the end of the day, it will, in hindsight, we'll be able to see. So we could look at this as 3, 4, 5 here, and 4 here, and 5 here, and then an ABC pattern coming back in. You know, how far it comes back, don't know at this particular point. You could go long here on this right here. If you wish, we can put a trade out on that. But once again, it's going to be a bit of a slow slog to the upside. This trend is not finished, whichever way you want to look at it. So that's good. So you can do that at just pretty much on the open, really, I guess. Here, move down here is corrective. So that's all good. The trend, whichever way you count, it's not finished to the upside. So that's all good. And Microsoft has also got earnings this week as well, on the Wednesday. Once again, we do have a nice 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up here for 1, and we're going to look at this as wave 2, and we're going to look at this as 3, 4, 5 up here, and then the ABC pattern here. It's not going to go very far past this 400 here, and if we are going to go long, we're going to be looking for a classic trading levels pattern. If this is the 400 here, we'll need to wait for the first high above the level and then start to work the highs back down at that point. So I was hoping to get over here, get a position below the level, and then build above the level, and certainly through minor group 1 here of 10, 20, and 30. At that point, that's my aim. And that would also take us past this possibility here of being a 3-wave move here, you know, wherever that may be at that point. So we want to sort of negate that particular risk at that point. So that's what we're looking for here. So we just really need to wait that out. It's not a good idea to trade up into, I mean, short-term traders can trade up into 400. Obviously, you know, there's a fair bit of supply there before we even get there. We're running into, you know, wave 4s and 5s here as well. But once again, should push higher. Not a leverage trade, but because you don't want to hold it overnight and pay, you know, when you get caught up in wave 4s, you know, they can start costing you a fair bit of money. So just not much really to do here. This 400, you know, is, you know, it's going to have history there. So, you know, it's going to take a while to get on the other side of that. And over to Tesla. And, you know, I've got this counted a bit weird here, where I've got, you know, an ABC for wave 3 here, then 1 and 2 here, a nice strong third wave down here. And then I'm looking at this here being an ABC for the 4th wave and 5 waves down here. So even though it hasn't taken the low out here, I don't mind it, because it still gives me 5 waves up here. So I'll look at this as a truncated 5th wave, and that way it also gives me 5 waves coming down here as well. I could put the whole thing as a triangle pattern as well, but I feel like I'm not far off. Could have it wrong, but anyway, we put this trade out. I put this trade out, just really sort of testing this, you know, machine, this new thing here. So yeah, I'll when I adjust the stops and so on. Now the thing here is that I've got the target set at 400. Now I wanted to put the target much higher up here at 500 and beyond. Now, I know that's a little bit sort of crazy for people to get their heads around. But in the meantime, if you didn't want to go anywhere near that, and I'll give it a little bit of thought, because it's going to be a little bit sort of tricky here, is to take profit at the 300 here for this. The market will climb higher. Once again, you see how I've got this as 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 here, and then the third wave here. To me, that looks quite nice, but we could also look at this as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But whichever way you want to count this, the reality of what's actually happening is the trends, the ranges are expanding to the upside. So the trend is expanding to the upside. But now it will contract into the 300, and we can have a little bit of time here, because group 1 here, those 3 there, 10, 20 and 30, and group 2 here, the 280, that's basically where it's going to be sort of sitting within there. So I want to just, you could take your money off the table when you got to the 300 here if you wish, but I'm just going to wait it out a little bit. I just want to see what it looks like. I'll probably move the stop up a little bit here to diminish the risk on that. So if I put that here at this point, I don't want to get the stop too close at this stage, because I'll just put it under here. I don't want to get it too close at this point, because I want to kind of think, I want to see a little bit more price action in the market. I want to see if we can survive this wave 2. But we'll probably take some money off this, maybe up at the 320 or something, and then wait for this. But I want to see how the trend looks. I want to make sure that I've got a beginning, a middle and an end to this trend, because then I know it'll correct, and then I know I can get back in, But if it's going to continue to expand to the upside for whatever reasons, it was pointless getting out. Do you know what I mean? So so really the target's not 400, it's actually much higher, and normally I would just sort of take it off here, but I kind of wanted to get a small position in before this level here and then build upon that. It's just can we survive this wave 2? And one way to survive it is to take either take profit or take part profit. So I'll just leave that with me for a moment. I'll just mull it over, but in the meantime you can move your stop under just up under here, and you might even want to take a little bit off, like I said, at the 300 there, and I like small positions and wide stops. It's a bit more sort of comforting. Rightio, over to Bitcoin. So firstly, I put in a little trade just here, and then to get out at the 95 here, right, 95,000. Okay, so that trade was in here, but see how I've closed that now. I should have closed it on the Friday, but also a bit busy over the weekend. So, but anyway, it's closed now. I'll delete it shortly. I just want to talk to Zhao about it first, and those sort of things. But I will remove these here now. Okay, those profit targets and those sort of things. So that said, it looks like I've got two bullish counts that I just briefly want to go over. One of them is that we have this wave 4 here. I'm not quite sure if that's finished, but I can count 5 waves down in wave C here. But so we can move up here to wave 5 up here, somewhere around the 100,000, right? And then have the ABC pattern here. And that would count, if I just squish this up here, that's counting this here with wave B over here with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down here, and looking at, even though it's not the low, this is the low, but looking at this as the low and putting it here, and then looking at this as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up here, and then an ABC for wave 2, and then all this in here that we'd been counting through last week. So that, but I think it's going to be a little bit more to it up here. So on the alternative count here for BTC, I've got it a little bit different here. So it goes up a little bit higher here. So in this case, it'll be going up for 3, 4, 5, 4 and 5 here, so a bit more to the upside. But I think it's probably going to be something in between that. Most of the stocks are telling me that will be finished over here on this. So that's what the stocks are telling me, this one here. I mean, there is Netflix, which is over here. But anyway, just to let you know, there's a little bit more work to be done there. And in this case, I've done it this way, putting this as the low in here with 1 and 2 here, and then 1 and 2, 3, 4, 5 up here for 1 and 2. I mean, most of the other markets I can put wave 1 over here, but I do have, in this instance, I do have this here as, oh yeah, no, I could do that. Yeah, I could do that too. Yeah, no, I could just look at all of that there as 1. I can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for 1 and 2 here, then 1, 2. Yeah, I should be able to work that. So there's a few different ways, but the main takeaway here is that this number 1 here, the 100,000, is a major level, and we're not going to go too far past that. Do you know what I mean? It's going to be a bit of a sticky number. One of the other things in here is the move up here can be counted as a ABC pattern here for this. So if I just go to the crypto thing here and just have a look. I won't go to the website here, just in here. So Sammy's got this here, here as a little ABC pattern to the upside. So we still need to be cautious about this. So it's great that we've got this count, and that would be the bearish count. Okay, so we need to be careful when we get close to that 100,000. If you're trading rather than hodling, then that's going to be a bit of an issue, but we'll work through that. But it's good to look at both sides of the market, you know, rather than sticking our head in the ground. So that will be that, and that's that. So have an enjoyable week ahead. Cheers.